look at you doing alright. Addicted to you, butterfly. Could never tell your love goodbye. I would run all the way, I would run through the rain, pouring every vision to your mind. Life with no stress, no lie. Lucid like I'm living in a dream. There's nowhere else to be, I'm here beside you. My love for you is way deeper than oceans, pulling me closer into your emotions. Waves falling over my astral projection. Don't need no protection, align this connection. So yeah, you're my soulmate.
In the moon, my emotions are timid. You are more than just a woman, you are food for the spirit. A queen amongst stars, you are heaven and night. Between dusk and the dawn and the morning twilight, you're the essence, beauty of a blind man's glare. Better smooth as a baby in your face I stare. You're the one I wanna be with. God lost an angel and I can keep a secret. True love is real and the feelings I have are so embedded in my heart. I genuinely think about a wedding. A best friend to me is someone that I profess. Love for one another will always remain fresh. Always until death, give my last breath to see your face one more time before I die. Cried my last tears, face all my fears, put them all to the side just for you to be here. You are God's gift, life is limitless, still moments in the summertime, sitting on the porch getting bent. Lift your head up, put your tongue in the sky. There's a reason the butterfly tattoo on your back don't fly. It's a portrait of you and I kissing and living eternally in the sunshine. There is no limit to the love, the beauty inside is so vivid. A wonderful rainfall gives life to our children.
My love for you is way deeper than oceans, pulling me closer into your emotions. Waves falling over my astral projection. Don't need no protection, align this connection.
Say a mantra, I'm a monster. When it comes to, can you go longer, stronger, all night, giving you the thunder, hunger, yearning for your love even after I'm done. After the night we approaching the sun. Call me a king when I'm making you come. Run to the heavens, stay in my presence. Baby, you're a queen and I love to feel your essence.
To welcome everyone to the Conscious Crew podcast. Today we are virtual and we have a special guest. Today we have J Brave all the way from LA joining us via Zoom meeting. Thank you for coming, man.
Oh man, my pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. Cool, man. You know, we just listened to that Soulmate track, man. That was real special. Tell us about that video and how the process of putting that song together came.
I mean, really, I met another, I feel like soulmates are not just romantic partners, but they could be creative partners, business partners, even family or deep friends. We have deep connection with people on a spiritual level. And I met this beautiful brother a little while ago named Braxton, who produced the song. Yeah. And Braxton and I, were working on that track, and it just came through the ethers, man. We were in the room, we had no intention, and we were working on something else. And then that kind of came through. He made the beat. He sung the vocal on the hook. I did the verses. It just kind of came together magically in one day.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, the music video, it's funny how that worked too, because we shot a music video that was full production. We had a warehouse, a bunch of extras, amazing women in the video. And then the video actually was, put on a hard drive, and the hard drive got corrupted. And we lost the first version of the music video. And to me, things happen for a reason. And when I heard the news from the director, I didn't get mad. I wasn't angry. I was just like, okay, maybe this is happening for some reason I can't explain. And, sure enough, so a few weeks passed by, maybe a few months rather. And then we shot another music video. Yeah. And it took like a year for everything to kind of happen. Ultimately, maybe a little bit more. But this was a second version of the music video because lost the first footage. So really beautiful process, just really highlighting the importance of the divine feminine, you know, obviously having the hip hop and R&B vibes, but like really keeping that like undertone of how do we celebrate the feminine in a hip hop video versus like degrade them, you know what I mean? Like in some other videos in the past.
Yes.
We had a nice balance of like mainstream vibes, but like positive intentions.
For sure, man. Yeah, I really enjoyed that video, and it took now hearing that it took a little bit of a process. It still, to me, it came through perfect, so and right on time. So,
so think about that
everything
was
worked out for a reason.
Yeah, it's funny how it worked out. We did a release party in LA back in October of last year, and ironically, I met the woman that is now my current partner at that release party. So I feel like there was some powerful energies moving through for me to actually cultivate the soulmate experience as far as romance goes.
Wow. And it's on the soulmate. Special, man. That's real special. I've been following you here for a little while, and I came across you, another person that we work closely with, this place called Inner Space.
Yeah.
And they're a self-improvement center here in Des Moines, and they put me on to Parangi, if I was pronouncing that correctly. And I was listening to some of his music, and I was really digging that. He's got some awesome production and things. And then I came across a couple songs that had you on it, and I was like, whoa, this dude, he brought like everything that I'm looking at as far as hip hop and merging it with the consciousness and just all that. I was like, man, this guy's right on track. So I started following you from there, man. Tell me a little bit about like working with him, because he's he does a lot of touring and he's out there, So tell me about that, and specifically, I heard "Sacred" was one of the songs that I continue to listen to, and that was probably the first song that I heard that kind of introduced me to your music.
Yeah, he's a dear brother of mine. Parangi's a beautiful brother from Brazil, lives in Sedona with his partner. And it's beautiful to see partners in action, in service together, creating music. We connected on that track. I actually wrote the song in Sedona maybe 3-4 years ago. And I was hanging out with my friend Kate, who's the woman that sings on the chorus. Right. And we were in this really beautiful part of Sedona, Arizona, in this like secret river that's kind of off the public path. And we caught some vibes, and we started to write that song, and those lyrics came through to me. And then sure enough, we ended up getting Parangi to be a part of it, because he also lived in Sedona. So we felt like it'd be cool to help to get him on board as far as the production. And so one thing led to another. We made this song, recorded it, ended up shooting a music video back in that same area, maybe a year and a half, 2 years later.
Okay.
And probably my most revered song. People really like that joint, that music video. He's a dear friend of mine. And it's really beautiful to bring all the different cultures and energies together to celebrate the earth,
Yeah, for sure, man. And that's one thing about the whole that whole music collective, I guess, now that you're speaking of, is that everybody really stands for something, and there's passion behind the music, and why don't you go ahead and tell, like, if you could explain to the people that may be listening to this, or what is your like musical journey? What has led you to want to create the music in the way that you do now?
Yeah, I grew up in a b-boy house. When I was a kid, my brothers all b-boy. I was in Inglewood, and in the mid '80s, my brothers were all. When I was a little kid, my brothers were all either breakdancing or gangbanging and selling drugs, a mixture of the three. And so I kind of grew up in the heyday where hip hop was starting to come up alive in Los Angeles. And living in like the inner city area, our house became like a haven for people to come and break dance and party. And I remember vividly all these parties of kids breakdancing in the living room, and my house getting like, police coming over and stopping parties late at night. And so for me, like hip hop was a part of like my day to day, And as I got older, I feel like I always was attracted to hip hop songs that had like an inspirational tone to them.
Sure.
And so I always wanted to grow up and make rap music that had some positive vibes to it. So that's what kind of moved me even when I was younger. I remember listening to Tupac and like Me Against the World, like that album was amazing. And listening to Dear Mama, that song really inspired me. Like, it really moved me in a deep way, because it reminded me of my life growing up. Like, the things he was saying reminded me of some of the things that I went through as a kid and adolescent. And I felt really inspired by that. And I feel like that song especially inspired me to put pen to paper and start writing lyrics. And I feel like I've always just wanted to share, my story of transformation through music. So I feel like what I create now is all about my ability to inspire people through what's inspired me in life. And yeah, that's what I've always stayed to,
Right. Yeah. And I see now that you're also working with youth and doing positive things in the community, working with artists. It sounds like you're doing some coaching and working with at-risk youth. You still doing some work?
Yeah, I used to work full time as a youth mentor and counselor in LA, and I've worked nearly 10 years with homeless as well as at-risk youth for 5 different nonprofit organizations. And right now I'm kind of just in the full-time artistry path, and I'm a father as well. So I kind of transitioned out of that social services work into my artistry, like a beautiful segue, and becoming a dad.
Sure.
But a long time before I started touring and really getting out there more, I was really active in the community as a full-time youth mentor, working with young people that are living in and out of incarcerated facilities, in and out of foster care, on and off the streets, in shelters, or living on the street, you know what I mean? And it was really, for me, like a spiritual boot camp to hold that space and grow and hold the container for those young people to grow too. So that really impacted me in a deep way. And I feel like it taught me the importance of service and how to be in service. And so I feel like I was able to have an opportunity to learn about transformation, change, peace, all the things I talk about through actually, embodying that. And the universe gave me this opportunity to embody that. So definitely dear to my heart. I'm not as active as I used to be as far as full-time work, but of course, I'm always doing my best to be an inspiration for people who can use some light.
Sure. I really, that resonates with me because we're doing a lot of work with youth and doing an after school program, things like that. So I think that's awesome work to always, try to get back to the youth, and so I think that's awesome, man. Big ups for that.
Yeah, you too, man. It takes teamwork to make a dream work,
For sure. Another thing is that, we talked about you touring and new music that might be coming out. Can you tell me a little bit about what you're doing in California right now? And do you have any, I know a lot of things. We're still in, this is the times with everything going on with the shutdown and things like that, staying home. But later this summer, do you see any shows, things like that coming up for you?
Just to be vulnerable, man, during this time with the COVID and everything happening in the world, and it's like everything's on pause. I've had so many of my gigs cancel or reschedule to the fall. And so what was looking like a very productive and abundant spring and summer has kind of diminished as far as my shows. And, not much many artists can do about that in context of what's happening in the world. So I feel everything's just like kind of up in the air as far as shows and performances and even events that I throw, because I throw events under the name Benevolence. Okay. So everything's kind of on pause, but I have been working on music. I am going to probably release another single in May. I haven't decided which one yet, 100%, but definitely look out for something around the new moon on May 22nd for as far as some new music. And I'm working on completing my new record called Gifts. I just finished the artwork for that, like for the cover. So I'm really excited about that. And I have a few more production things I got to do to finish the whole record, but definitely been planning to put that out maybe in June or sometime in the summer. So definitely tune in for Gifts. That's going to be really special.
Nice. To tell you a little bit about Iowa, while you're on here, man, we got, like I said, a growing community, from a music conscious perspective, as well as, just a lot of new places popping up, spiritual work, and, metaphysical places popping up. And, a lot of people are really, I'll say, we could say woke. A lot of people are getting woke out here. So, that's a big thing, man. We host an event called the Conscious Kickback. We started out, we were doing it every month, and we really started growing the community, get a lot of artists, it's really an event for musicians to come together from across the state and kind of grow it even bigger now. But, people to come, share their story. We want all genres of music to feel welcome. So we have people, come and be musicians, poets, hip hop, singer songwriter, whatever it is. But everyone that's on the event is sharing their story and not glorifying the negativity. We know not everything is perfect, and everybody has a path that they've had to go down. That's fine, share that. But what we're saying when we're talking about the glorification that's in a lot of the mainstream industry with the glorifying negativity. So
Sure.
That's what we try to stay away from with our conscious kickback event. And they've been growing, man, and we're getting a lot of community support, and so that's been a blessing, We're really
So,
for sure. Yeah. So yeah, maybe we'll see about maybe collaborating or doing something with that maybe in the future. That'd be amazing, man, if we could get you if you're on tour or something.
Yeah, I would love to. I haven't been out that way in a minute, but I would love to, make a little appearance, divine timing, inshallah. They say, God willing, I can pop in and share some magic to that part of the world. It's always cool to drop to a new community, see what's emerging in different places, connect with people with different stories and different backgrounds. So that's one of the best things about touring, connecting with different parts of the world and different parts of the country and just really dropping in with folks. Sometimes those drop-ins with people and making an authentic connection is sometimes even more important than the actual performance, just that one-to-one or a couple people you actually make a personal connection with. So I'm always open to where spirit takes me, man.
For sure. All right. So you got a new song out that, it just dropped like last week? Or how long has that been out?
Like maybe 2 weeks ago, Presence.
Yeah. So I checked that out, man. I like the song. I think it's pretty dope, man, called Presence. And it has Sun Yoga. Is that right?
Yeah, that's my bro, Sun Yoga. He did the beat. He raps the second verse. And I feel like, presence is a big attribute to my life. I'm a meditator as well. I practice yoga. I just feel like it's so important to tune in and slow down and really authentically listen not only to people, but the animals, to the plants, listen to our inner guidance. And just like, we have to come into that yin state of mind, a receptive state of being, to really practice that deep presence with ourselves. Because I feel like we're always being guided. We're always being given messages, little signs, but we have to be aware of how they're showing up for us in our lives. Sometimes they show up in challenges. Sometimes we're having a money issue, our car breaks down. Sometimes relationship issues. They reveal really beautiful things if we look at them from that perspective. Oftentimes we label things like negative, good, bad, right, or wrong. But in reality, if we're able to see something, a lesson beautiful in the adversity, something can emerge from that. So for me, presence is a state of mind. I just thought about the concept of how can I make a song about giving some light to the vibration of presence and sharing that with people. I feel like it's been really cool. People have been receptive to the energy. It's kind of got an old hip hop feel beat, you know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
So it's kind of cool. It's got a cool vibe, a nice little mantra for the hook.
Yeah, I think that's awesome, man. When you get to talking about the parents slowing down for the kids, enjoy your meal, that was powerful right there. But I was like, all of us need to hear that presence every now and then,
Well, we all got parents, I put that line in because even me sometimes, I'm a parent too. So sometimes I know that I'm now that I'm older, I get what my mom was trying to tell me. You feel me? When I was a kid, oh, now I get it. Because I got to explain my son as far as some of the things that we have to do as parents to keep our kids, on point. And so I felt sometimes as a kid, a child rather, of a parent, you can be like, okay, mom, I got you. You know what I mean? I hear you. But it's those moments are precious if we can just back up a little bit and realize, you know what, let me just, be present to my mom, be present to my family. Let me really tune into this as a blessing versus always being a little defensive. Right. So that's why I put in that line, don't rush, enjoy your meal. You feel me?
Yeah. Do you want to introduce the song real quick, man? We could.
Yeah, let's hit it. Yeah, this is a brand new joint called Presence. Tune in, enjoy the vibes, connect with the energy, be present.
Presence is power. What are we present to in life? It's we rush, but are we really listening? Can we really hear the music, you know? What you present to? The revenues? The people that be chillin' on the avenues? Your baby mama's giving you some attitude? Your boyfriend ain't showing you no gratitude? Or maybe you just tripping on some other shit, like getting off of work and smoking on a spliff. Or maybe you don't wanna hear the words I say. You just looking at your phone, swiping your display. Walking down the street and we don't even see the trees. Are you present when you're sitting near the ocean breeze? Are you present when your children try to share their needs? Or are you watching Netflix, flipping through your TV? Damn, and when we're talking to each other, do we listen to each other? Always cutting off your mother when she's trying to tell you how she really feels. While you in a rush, take your time, enjoy your meal. Presence is power. Power is presence. Presence is power. Power is presence. Presence is power. Power is presence. Presence is power. Power is presence.
Now it's known energy flows where attention goes. So I aim to keep the focus on the virtues of the soul. Cause I know we're all not taught the karmic math. To walk the dharma path as many did farther in the past. Cause I caught me thinking was this tension that got me. Then I heard, just breathe, these thought forms are not me. And I got free, realizing in actuality we all run the gauntlet of juggling our own reality. Struggle is real, perception is key. Determination is a factor like none other be. So reflect what you know and accept what's not only seen. Breath is a holy thing that brings one into fully being. Gaining awareness of our true potential and what's essential to prepare the youth that use their mental for the future of the world's progression. But this message isn't on your phone. There's a powerful presence within you calling you home.
Presence is power. Power is presence. 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 Why don't we listen no more? Why don't we open a conversation to learn and explore? Why are we always so eager to spill our guts on the floor? We only wanna just talk and talk and can't wait to retort. Why don't we wait and absorb? Listen. Presence is power. Power is presence. The evidence is in every moment. The breath is heaven sent. And ever since I was a young shorty, I felt the reverence of being present, talking to Father. He was benevolent. Listen to the ocean, to the trees, to the mountains, to the bees, to the children that we lead. They are leaders in the making. They can teach us many lessons. See the blessings in the skies. Walk in grace and feel the essence of the Most High. Most times we don't even know why the universe will give us all the answers if we look inside. Try just to let go and let go the frequency that's frequently vibrating in your ethos. Presence is power. Power is presence. Presence is power. Power is presence. Presence is power. Power is presence. Presence is power. Power is presence.
This family here.
You're thinking about your family.
Home and family.
This family here.
You're thinking about your family.
Home and family.
All right, we just heard the new Presence by J Brave, man. That was a nice track. Really enjoyed that one. Everybody just take a little time and stay present. Man, tell us about any other upcoming projects you got. You said you might be releasing something else soon.
Yeah, I'm planning on putting out a new single in May. And then my new record, my new album, Gifts, is coming out. And the whole concept of gifts, it's really, the intention is that when we come to realize that all of our challenges are really blessings in disguise, then everything becomes a gift. And that's pretty much the thesis of the project. You feel me? So on this project, I'm really going as vulnerable as I've maybe ever been as far as sharing a little bit about my story. Like I mentioned, from my past, going through some really difficult challenges as a kid, to going through spiritual transformation, to going through relationship challenges, just being as vulnerable as possible. I feel like, you know, the more vulnerable we can attune to as people, that's when people really feel you. You know what I mean? When they feel that authenticity shining through, because there's so many people trying to be like everybody else. And, you know, we're all doing the best we can to find whatever success means to us in this world. But I know as artists, we can be influenced a lot by what we see in social media or in the news or what other people are doing. And I feel like for me, what works always is, to be brave is to be vulnerable. That's kind of what I learned about my name, Brave. I was given this. My name is Javis. And one day somebody heard me rap like, "Yo, Javis the bravest." And so Javis the bravest became J Brave. And I had to ask myself, why was I given this name Brave? And I realized to be brave is to be vulnerable. It's like the other side of the same coin. So for me, I'm always practicing how vulnerable can I be? How authentic can I be? And I feel like this gift record is really about just tapping into another level of my vulnerability, showing everybody like my story from the deepest levels. And I feel like people are going to dig it. It's going to be a really beautiful journey.
For sure, man. Well, I'm excited. I'm going to be checking that out when it comes through. All that, being the vulnerable and all that kind of speaks to your uniqueness, to me, be authentic you, and that's what I really like about your music. And, I guess I'm also curious, what helped shape you to be you? I mean, do you have any music influences of, I know you have a hip hop background. Is there anybody in hip hop you kind of, because you're unique by what you do. There's no other J Brave out there, and we got artists that are starting to kind of make their own wave in this conscious hip hop again. And there's people that have done it in the past, but is there anybody that inspired you or?
Yeah, I mean, just as far as uniqueness goes, thank you for the question, because I've been wanting to speak more about this, because I feel I grew up as a mixed kid of different cultures. My father's African-American. He passed away a long time ago when I was 11 years old. He passed. My mother is basically Spanish, Mexican descent, and I have some native blood too. So I have a mixture of all those different cultures. When I grew up in school, I felt like I was always trying to fit into all the different groups. Like oftentimes people that look alike hang out together in school. That's what I experienced, at least at the time. And I felt like people, young people, they weren't always as accepting of me because I was so many different people called me different derogatory names. People would pick on me because of my culture, how I looked. And I felt like I was always trying to fit in. And as I got older and realized I can't look outside of myself for validation, I got to accept myself. I got to love myself. That kind of began my spiritual journey, really, like that path of loving myself, accepting myself, really giving honor to who I am and not looking outside of me for something to complete me. Do you know what I mean? Sure. And I feel it's been a constant journey, again, of being this brave part of me that's very outgoing, extrovert, and then a part of me that's very sensitive and gentle, kind of honoring both polarities. And I feel like I've just been coming into this state as a man to really honor my yin and my yang. Oftentimes in hip hop, it's like you have to be aggressive, you have to be hard, you have to be this. But I feel like there's not a lot of room where people can feel they can be themselves. I feel like that's why Drake is so successful, because Drake embodies both. And I feel like people can relate to his authenticity of being a sensitive man that sings, but then also can rap. And I feel like he came out and did something that no one had done before in this modern times. And I feel like in the same vein, for me, it's been a practice of finding my balance. So it's always kind of been there in that place. And I feel like that's something I want to share through my music as well. As far as influences go, like I mentioned before, Tupac was a major influence for me growing up. I feel like that song, Dear Mama, especially really inspired me to write music. He just was such a beautiful balance as a Gemini like me, being super hard and aggressive, but also very sensitive, and writing songs about his mom and writing poetry and caring about the community, and writing songs like Brenda Has a Baby and writing songs about like changes. He had such a beautiful dichotomy to him that I feel was really profound. So I feel I'm cut from that cloth, and I feel, I've been learning to just embrace who I am, really. It's been a journey for that. And I was also very heavily influenced by Bob Marley. I love Bob Marley, even outside of hip hop, whatever you want to, reggae. He's an amazing person, influencer to me. And always loved Common, Talib Kweli, Mos Def, Black Thought, Nas, Lauryn Hill. I think she's the dopest female rapper I've ever heard.
Right.
Even like Dilated Peoples, Freestyle Fellowship. There's been a lot of really amazing influences in my life as far as music goes.
So you've been tuned in with the conscious music for quite a while then, it sounds like, with all those artists you named, most of them kind of come from storyteller background, so I think that's pretty dope. I can definitely see, the correlation of your influences to maybe some of the music that you make now, so that's dope. So tell us about any collaborations you've had in the past, or any collaborations that you're working on, or that kind of like a dream collaboration, something that you would want to do. You have any input on those?
Yeah, I'm a part of a hip hop crew, by the way, called Luminaries. We put out a record and a mixtape, and we got some fame for a minute. And we're kind of re-emerging and working on some new music. And one of the collaborations we have behind the scenes is with a brother named Nako. Okay. So we got a track with Nako that hopefully will come out sometime soon. On my new record, I got a track with a dear friend of mine, Lily Fang. So I'm really excited to put that out soon. Also, this collaboration with my bro Braxton, my bro Olamex on the record, my beloved Lotus Grace. She's a really beautiful artist, and that's my partner who I create music with. So I have some beautiful collaborations on the new record with her. And I would love to do something with Common. I think that would be really cool. I feel like I love how he's grown so much as a person, as a man. I would love to do something with Sade. That would be like a dream come true. Even just to meet. She's one of my biggest influences as well. I've always loved Sade's music. And to be able to meet her, connect with her, or if I ever did something with her, I'd probably trip out. But
I've been vibing with her for a minute too. I think she's got some good songs, man. And my dad used to play the heck out of Sade. She would love the Sade, and I think she's still out making music. So hey, it might happen.
I think we can use some Sade right now. It's like she pops up every 7 to 10 years, and she does a global tour and then goes back into her little cave. Right. So I'm trying to get in that place, especially with what's happening in the world, where we can use some positivity, some love, some inspiration. Right. So hopefully, once all this clears up, we can see some new Sade music. That'd be amazing.
For sure. All right, man. With everything going on, maybe we close out with some comments about, how do you feel about, where everything is in the world right now? I know you're always on Instagram. Make sure you go follow J Brave on Instagram if you're not already. You're always on there spreading positivity and have input on where we are now, and just, tell us a little bit about your position, or where do you think that fits in? Where do you think consciousness sits right now with everything going on in the world?
Well, I think nature is the universal teacher in our world, because sometimes we cannot feel resonant to certain types of religion or political beliefs, but I feel nature is the equalizer of everything. And I feel like just like in nature, from chaos comes creation. Oftentimes, there has to be lava to create new land, or maybe the old forest has to burn down before the new one can emerge. So we're going through this, or even the butterfly, there has to be a moment of the caterpillar in the cocoon, creating that chrysalis and then becoming the butterfly. And I feel like we're in that transformation process now. And it's really challenging for a lot of folks, of course, around the world. And there's a lot of different agendas trying to play out. There's health agendas, there's political agendas, there's a lot of esoteric agendas, there's astrological things happening. There is, this stuff happening with so many facets of life that we have to kind of tune into. And I'm like, it's all a transformation. Stay aware, stay present, stay vigilant, stay centered, trust that everything is happening for a reason. I think fear even is a reason for us to show up for us. Fear teaches us things. It teaches us about ourselves, what to say, what to do, how to respond. But we have to stay centered in the process, and at the same time be aware that there are forces trying to do some crazy shit right now. They're trying to do some things that are maybe questionable as far as integrity goes, and we have to be mindful, just like Martin Luther King was, or Gandhi was, or Nelson Mandela was, to be mindful against forces that are trying to do things that are negative in our world moving forward. And I feel like but operating from a space of love, operating from a space of nonviolence, operating from a space of being centered and trusting. So, it's a yin and a yang. And I feel like it's just, we got to be present, be present to the messages. We're all being guided to do something right now. We all have a story to share. We all have something to offer, something to express, whether it's music, whether it's dance, whether it's this podcast, creating a movie, we're being called to do things that contribute to the co-creation of a new world. And each and every one of us has something unique to offer as a tool to help build the new paradigm.
True, man. I agree with you. You know, it's definitely a time of transformation, and man, I just hope that everybody is staying safe out here and like just you know, do your best. That's all I feel like people can do. Just do your best, you know, and try to stay positive. And like you said, and the song said, stay present. So, yes, for sure, man. I really appreciate it. I think you're doing great things for the world of music. You know, sounds like you're doing great things in LA and for the community. So, man, big props to you. That's, you know, that's like I said, everybody, all we can do is do our best, stay positive, and show love. So I really appreciate you taking your time today, man. I want everybody to go follow J Brave on Instagram. Where else can people find your music? I know you're pretty much on everything.
Yeah, I'm on pretty much every platform, Spotify, everywhere, but definitely hit me up on Instagram, just JBrave1. And you can link there to get links to all the other portals.
For sure. And we'll put a link to the new song down in the description so people can find that easily. And we'll also put the Instagram link there too. So for sure, man. All right, man. Well, we appreciate you again. This is J Brave. Thank you to everyone watching the Conscious Crew podcast today. Peace.
Blessings.